Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Welcome back to the Patrick Riggins Show. Getting the microphone hot.
This is my first time here.
Yeah, everyone that's online there at WNOXFM.com, of course, saw Patrick speaking into a microphone, but nothing coming out. So
my first day on the job.
That's okay. We'll give you one. One in, let's see, 2 years. I think that's pretty good.
It's been many. I just cover well. I'm a professional, after all.
I am a professional.
What I don't know.
Yeah. That's a little Ferris Bueller quote. I don't know if you remember when he parked the car in the garage there. And he's like, a professional what? No.
Bueller?
Of course, yeah. Big Ferris Bueller fan. I'm of the opinion that if you lived your life according to him, it'd probably be okay. All right, this week, I'd like to start out with a segment which, I'll be honest, will probably cause some of you to become angry with Patrick.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
So the call screener, the call screener doesn't want to hear that. But I ask that you bear with me on this. I think in the end, you'll understand the point I'm trying to make. I would like to start off with two questions. First, what price are you willing to pay for freedom? And second, are you willing to make that payment? Now, the people who fought in the Revolutionary War weren't promised anything, just the idea of freedom. No one said we were going to win that war. In fact, the odds were against us. We were fighting against one of the most powerful nations on the earth at that time, and yet we had people who still fought. I am sure a lot of their friends, and probably family as well, said they were throwing their lives away. Yet they still felt strongly enough to do it. What I guess the question I'm really asking is, are your principles such that freedom is important to you? And if so, how important? Here's a quote from a past show I did where I address this question this way. This is Patrick Riggins' definition of politics. It's a market-based structure where we find out the price at which you will sell out your principles. So what is that price? If you say you want less people dependent on government and you get a government aid check, then we know your price. Is it $300 a week? $300 a month? Whatever your government check is? You say people should not take money from the government. It isn't right. I'll stand behind that statement. That is until you pay me that $300 a week or $300 a month. That's the price when I will sell out. That's when it is okay, because the government is giving me money at this point. In effect, buying me off, buying my silence and approval for what it is doing wrong. That's my bribe to acquiesce to government demands and programs. Now you may say you have paid into the system, and I'm kind of torn. I might listen to that argument, but once you get your money back, and heck, we'll even say plus some interest, once you get that back, now you are taking money from government, which is me and your neighbors. The very thing you say should not happen. But even if you're using that argument, you are just getting back what you put in. Consider this just for a minute. You know that your money is gone. You know we are spending money we don't have. So your money is no longer there. It's gone. It's spent on crap, wasted by the government. The money they are sending you, they are taking from someone else. So if the government takes money from you and gives it to another and you say that's wrong, then how is government taking money from someone else and giving it to you right? Again, you know your money is gone. Whatever the government took in the form of taxes, fees, whatever, that's gone. That's the way it is. The money you're getting is coming from another person. The government has lost your money. Again, it's gone. Is it now okay to take that government check? knowing your money is gone and this is money taken from someone else. That's what I'm trying to demonstrate to you on this show. You need to stand on your principles, no matter what everyone else is doing. If you don't live for anything else in your life, at least live for your principles. Don't be a hypocrite. That's the worst thing you can do, because you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong, and that's the problem. Going back to my previous example, the people who fought the Revolutionary War were willing to give up everything. But you aren't willing to give up your government money each month. You aren't even being asked to give up your life. Again, try not to be a hypocrite. Don't do what you're telling others not to do. These people look at your actions, and you'll instantly lose all credibility. It's like telling your child not to smoke while you continue to do so. Well, you say, I'm trying to quit. Well, if that's the case, then quit. Don't try, do it. Because your words carry no weight at all with someone else if you're doing the very thing you say others should not. This is why you may find it hard to convince people to think in a libertarian fashion, in an individual freedom fashion. Because you make the argument, yet turn around and gladly cash your check from the government. You preach a good game, but you don't do it. And people see that. And that is why they discount the arguments you are making. Because you're living a life you tell others they shouldn't. Living your life as a hypocrite will also cause you dysfunctional problems, because you won't be living up to what you know is right, to the standards you know you should be living up to, but don't. Are you willing to give up certain things for freedom? This is the ugly side of freedom. This is the side of freedom no one wants to look at, because it is freedom. This is the child labor side of freedom. This is the discrimination side of freedom. This is the racist side of freedom. Do you want this freedom, or do you want government control? This is the problem with government. They put this fear in you. They tell you, this is what's going to happen if you don't let us be in charge instead of you having freedom. You're going to have people dying in factories. You're going to have people getting laid off left and right. You're going to have unequal pay. You're going to have jobs going overseas. We're losing our manufacturing base. All the jobs are going somewhere else. All these fears are put in your head to allow government to take away your freedom in some way. These fears assume Americans are a bunch of brain-dead apes who cannot adapt and improve on their lot in life. It says Americans are too stupid, not innovative, unable to adapt. It says all the worst things about us as a nation and a culture. And we sit here and accept it all as gospel. Heck, the government says, if this factory closes, then we're all unemployed and screwed. Are we not Americans? Can these people not find better jobs? Can they not start their own businesses and become more successful than even if the factory had stayed open and they still had a job? Well, yes. All these things are perfectly within our abilities to overcome, as long as we don't sit back and start taking government money and allowing us to succumb to that siren call of letting the government handle everything. And it is a very seductive call. Governments use this fear to keep you in line with what they want you to do, which is give up your freedom. Maybe not all at once, but little by little. Government will work at taking it away from you through this fear. Fear of losing your job, so we need to tax businesses and raise tariffs. Fear of not eating, so we need to tax you to provide food for everyone, because it could be you next. Fear of not having an income. Fear of being disabled. Fear of terrorists. We have to search you at the airports and bus stations, wherever we want. Look at the war on terror. They want you scared to death of another attack, so you'll give up some of your freedoms to supposedly be more safe. The war on drugs. They want you scared that everyone will be a drug dealer or addict if the government doesn't continue with this. And subsequently, and consequently, I guess, too, give up some of your freedoms. You may be saying, what freedom do I have to give up there just with war on drugs. Well, carry too much cash on you, and now you're a suspect, just to name one instance. Government does this across the board. If you don't let us come in and inspect your business or your house, then it's going to burn down. I don't know any employer anywhere that is going to waste a valuable employee in competitive worldwide market we have today. Oh, wait, that is, of course, unless you're working for the government. And, I don't know, let's say Libya. Then you're probably expendable. You see the difference between the two, public and private sectors. You're reading the paper all the time. The private sector pulls its people out at the first stage of something hitting the fan in a foreign country. They don't want to risk losing someone they have trained, let alone the bad publicity that would result. But governments don't care in that regard. If they have to break some eggs to make an omelet, they have no problem with that. How much money has an employer spent to train someone? They aren't going to waste that. It would be like taking a piece of equipment and intentionally destroying it. Private businesses, for the most part, they're just not going to do that. But look at who does. Who buys tons of things they never use? Who destroys perfectly good equipment and wastes billions and billions of dollars on things it doesn't need? Who? It's the government. Any business that does that is not going to last long, mainly because they won't be able to get anyone to work for them. But government puts the fear in you that unless they are there, this is what's going to happen in your private life, in your business life. All right, we're up on the half-hour break here. That was quick. All right, this is Patrick Riggins with the Patrick Riggins Show. We have a little bit of the half-hour breaks, usually just a little longer, but stick with us. We have a lot coming up. We're going to hit on the presidential debate in the next half hour and, a couple other things. We'll see what we get to. This is Patrick Riggins with the Patrick Riggins Show. We'll be back after these messages.